Hello everyone, I'm Geek Freak and welcome to the video. Today I want to talk about something different. I am going to talk about my favourite game on the PlayStation 1, Hogs of War. Hogs of War was one of my favourite games on the PlayStation 1. This game is a turn-based game, and basically you try and finish off the other team before they can finish you off. And it's sort of based on World War II, except with pigs. And you're given all different types of weapons. Knives, jetpacks, bombs, TNT, cluster bombs, etc, etc. There is a lot of weapons in this game, and again they are based off of World War II. It's not only a strategy game, but it's also very fun. And even though the graphics don't look very good, I mean, when it came out back in the day, it was a really fun game. Me and my dad used to play it all the time. And also, this game is funny. I mean, it's not like ha funny, but more of the lines of yeah, that's funny. And all the voices of the pigs, well, most of them, are voiced by the legendary Rick Mail. Oh my god, I love Rick Mail. I mean, the way he does the voices in this game, it's just you know, a load of laughs. Now, some people might think that turn-based games aren't all that fun, and everybody just wants to go and play Halo or Red Dead Redemption or something like that. But I guarantee you guys, if you guys was to give this game a chance and play it, or watch it on YouTube, you'll see why I love this game so much. And it's actually one of the games that I've been trying to put onto my PlayStation Classic. But sadly, I've been trying over and over again to put this game onto my PlayStation Classic, but it's just not working. But it's okay, I'm waiting for Project Ares, the desktop app. I'm hoping that that app will make it easier for me to put PlayStation 1 games onto my PlayStation Classic. It will be out soon, so fingers crossed on that. Now, the main reason why I made this video isn't to tell you guys how much I love this game. The main reason why I made this video is because if this game was to ever get a reboot or a remake, and hopefully be put on the PlayStation 5, which I don't see happening, but if they was ever to make a remake or a reboot of Hogs of War for the modern day, there are things on it that I would love to see if there ever was going to be a remake. Now, these are just ideas of what they could do if they ever remade it. Now, I know what some of you are going to say. You're going to say, oh, but Geek Freak, it's just an old PS1 game. Why would they ever remake an old PlayStation 1 game? Well, because even though it's small, there is a Hogs of War community. I mean, it's not like a big, massive one, but this game does have its fans. And also, not to mention, there is a game in production called Hogs of War Reheated. Now, I don't know when this game's going to come out, and I hope this game hasn't been finalized yet, because even though I do love Hogs of War, in my opinion, I think it's way too simple. I mean, not to say there's anything wrong with that. I love my games simple. That means you can just have more fun. Or maybe you're one of those people that likes complicated games, and that's fun for you. But anyways, yeah, I'm getting off track. I do have some ideas of what they could put in Hogs of War if it ever got a remake, and that's what I'm going to share with you guys today. Now, the first one I'd like to talk about is the maps. Now, as you guys can see here, the map on the screen shows us where everything is, from landmines to other piggies, water, crates, and all that jazz. Now, as much as I love the map, there is a few things that I would change. Now, on the map, at the very beginning, we are shown where the landmines are on the map, and where other piggies are, and where the crates are, you know, all that stuff. Now, in my opinion, I believe when you start a game, I think everything should be hidden. It shouldn't be shown on the map at the beginning of the game. And the only thing that you can see is the entirety of the map itself and your own piggies. And the only way for you to see other things like crates and piggies and rewards and a landmine field is if you can see them. Okay, let me give you guys an example. Let's just say, for example, it's the beginning of the game, and it's your turn, and when you move, and you have yourself a quick look around, you might be able to see crates or other piggies, and you could also see a sign that says landmines. Now, let's just say, for example, there are 5 piggies on each team, and it's your turn to go, and you're looking around, and you see 2 of the opposition's piggies, and or maybe you actually might see a crate, and then as soon as you see these piggies, and this crate, they will automatically be shown on the map. You guys get what I'm saying now? You can only see what's on the map when you find things on the map, and when you find them, they show up on the smaller map. And when it comes to landmines, I believe that they should be hidden unless there's a sign that says this is a landmine field. This, in my opinion, would keep the player on his toes. And when you do find a landmine field, it will show up on the map. Now, when it comes to the opposition's piggies, let's just say, for example, that you saw one, and then he moves out of your line of sight. Like this, for example. Let's just say that red X right there is the opposition's piggies, and then that piggy moved to that area where it's like a dark red. You know that the piggy's there, but you can't see him. So instead of a X on the map, there would be like a sort of like red patch indicating that the opposition's piggies are in that general area, because that piggy is out of your sight. You know he's in that area, but you can't pinpoint exactly where he is. This will also work on the multiplayer. Yeah, an online multiplayer, but I'll get to that in a bit. Let's just say, for example, that it's your turn and you're playing against an online player. Let's just say, for example, that it's your opponent's turn. You won't be able to see where he's moving. The only thing you'll be able to see is what your piggies are seeing. While your opponent is on his turn, you won't be able to see where he's going, but you'll be able to see what your opponent is doing from your piggy's point of view. You can change piggies during your opponent's turn, and again, from their point of view, you can try to see what your opponent is doing. You guys get what I'm saying? In the original PlayStation 1 game, you would always see what your opponent is doing if you was on a 2-player game. But if this was on an online game, you would only be able to see what your opponent is doing from your piggy's perspective. In my opinion, I think this would make it a little bit more challenging if it was an online multiplayer. Now, speaking of online multiplayer, that's exactly what I would like to see. I would like to see an online multiplayer. Now, I am going to say this. In my honest opinion, I think the limit of how many teams can be on a map should be 4. Because here's the thing, if it was any higher, the waiting of everybody's turn would turn everybody off this game. Because if we was to give each player a minute to take their turn, the other players would have to wait around 3 minutes each turn. So I think the time each player should be roughly around 30 to 40 seconds to take their turn. We could have like different sort of modes for this. We could have like a team battle, 2-on-1. There are some ideas out there of what they could do with a multiplayer, and I've already told you guys what they could do during the gameplay. And with that said and done, let's move on to the next one. Now the next one, I think, is a no-brainer. I believe that we should be able to make our own maps. Now I've seen other games do this. Doom, Mario Maker, and a few others. And you know what? That's exactly what this game needs. We should be able to be allowed to make our own stages or maps. I mean, we could have so much fun with this. We could have like a desert setting, a water setting, any sort of setting we like. We could make so many kooky maps on Hogs of War if it had a map maker. We could basically make whatever sort of map we want. Because let me give you guys an example. Let's have a look at a game called Mario Kart. When I played this on the Nintendo 64, it was a lot of fun. I enjoyed racing, but the problem was, after so long, going through the same tracks over and over again gets boring. And it's sort of the same with Hogs of War. Now, even though I do like the maps in Hogs of War, I think creating our own maps would keep everything fresh. And not only that, we can also share our maps online with everybody else. Like maybe somebody else wants to try out your map, or maybe you want a 4-way battle on somebody else's map. Again, it would be basically like Mario Maker. It would be fun, fresh, and funny. And with that said, let's move on to the next one. Now, one of the things that got me thinking, when I was playing on one of the maps, I noticed most of the time that most of the maps were bare. I mean, sure, you had a few crates, you had landmines, a few turrets there, a bunker, a machine that could fire, but other than that, I can't help that they should have added more on the maps other than those things, like maybe buildings to hide in, or maybe a small city, or maybe a forest. Most of the time, it's just a barren wasteland. So, in my opinion, I think adding buildings to hide in, or protect you, or hiding in a forest. So that way, your opponent can't see where they're aiming if they're looking outside of the forest looking in. For me, I think they should add more stuff on the maps just to give it something new. They could put so much stuff on these maps, and I think adding buildings like this, or maybe even cities, or forests, etc., would shake up a few things. And with that said, let's move on to the next one. The other thing I would like to see is vehicles like tanks. Now, the gameplay is supposed to take place during World War One or World War Two, and all we're doing is throwing grenades, shooting people with guns, TNT, rocket launchers, etc. And there is a few machine guns that you can use on the map. However, how cool would it be if we could ride around in a tank, or maybe a small boat? Or if we was on a sea map, we could all be on one big boat, or ship, or maybe an airplane, or one of those blimps that we see in the game. There are loads of vehicles of what they could put in inside this game, and different vehicles could have different attributes of defense. Or hell, maybe there could even be a vehicle versus mode where you're fighting in vehicles, maybe with tanks, maybe with planes. The possibilities are endless when it comes to this. And with that said, let's move on. Now, the next thing I would like to add is booby traps. Something similar to this. Okay, you know landmines inside the game, where if you stand on a landmine, the bomb goes off and you explode. I was thinking more of the lines of that. While the other player isn't looking, on your turn, you can create booby traps. And if your opponent is on his way to kill you, he will fall inside the trap that you made. I mean, yeah, sure. You could probably do this with the landmines, where he can't see them, and when he walks over them, kaboom! But I think there should be different types of booby traps. Maybe you could fall into a hole. Maybe there's bombs inside that hole. I mean, yeah, this one is a small one, but I kind of like this idea, where we get to make our own booby traps. Or maybe, if your opponent is about to walk inside a building, before he walks into that building, you set it a trap right behind the door, and if he opens the door, kaboom! You know, something like that. Or maybe tripwire. For me, I think this is just a fun little idea. And with that said, let's move on to the next one. Now, the final one is very important. This game needs to remain funny. In the original game, Rick Mail did most of the voices, and he would say something funny before the piggy fires his weapon at the opponent. For me, I would like to hear Rick Mail's voice again in this new game. And if they wanted to, they could add even more funny things inside of it. Not just voices. Maybe a few slapsticks there, maybe a few stereotypical voices there. You know, just like in the original game. And that's it, guys. What do you guys think? What would you add in a new Hogs of War game? Please let me know in the comment sections below, and let's get a discussion going. I'm Geek Freak. Peace out. Thank you guys for watching. And if there's a series you want me to check out and review and give my thoughts on it, or if there's a top 10 list you want me to do, or any reactions, or responses, or rants on anything geeky, just leave links and comments in the comment sections below, and I'll get to them as soon as I can. If you guys want to go and check out my other social medias, I'm on Gab, Discord, BitChute, Tumblr, Dailymotion, Reddit, Subscribestar, Minds, Instagram, Twitch, DeviantArt, Pinterest, my anime list, and Vidya. And don't forget to check out my Skeptic channel, Gypsy Freak. And my other social medias are down there in the description box below, so if you want to go and check them out, please do. And if you guys want to support this channel, I'm on PayPal, Patreon, and GoFundMe. And please don't forget to like, subscribe, and share this video. And don't forget to turn on the notification bell so you won't miss another video. I'm Geek Freak. Peace out.